What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live for Sunday Sports Wars. And this season in college football has been certainly unique because of, well, a variety of reasons. We know that the 12-team college football playoff was going to make things different because now all these teams, even with 3 losses, still have a chance of potentially getting in the playoff. It feels like there's really no dominant team right now. We keep getting surprising results. And holy shit, we had a crazy rivalry week, including a lot of fights breaking out. Michigan, Ohio State, the most physicality Ohio State showed all game long was after the game. They got really offended that Michigan was going to plant a flag in their field, on their stadium. But, man, you don't want them to do that. You should probably show it before time elapses. But we got USC, who tried to pull off a big upset at Notre Dame. The end is, if you just woke up and saw the score, you'd probably think Notre Dame beat the shit out of them. Not exactly true, but unfortunately, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will be in the college football playoff. Very, very unfortunately. The Bears finally, the front office, thank you, front office. I appreciate you for finally watching Sports Wars and listening to what I've had to say for the past, I don't know, year now about Matt Eberflus, and especially for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. Whether it's Matt Eberflus, whether it's Shane Waldron, this Chicago Bears team that decides to do things, I don't know, a month after everyone realizes what actually has to happen. But Matt Eberflus is finally gone, which is a good thing. How you doing, Beardo? How was your Thanksgiving?
I'm doing fine, man. Yeah, Thanksgiving was good. Still out here in Cali. I did catch most of the games on Thursday. Another heartbreaking loss for the Bears, but at least you got rid of Matt Eberflus. And with the Giants, man, Tommy DeVito injured. Now Drew Lock is really our only quarterback on our roster. I'm starting to think if Vikings backup Daniel Jones, if the Giants should take a look at him to pick him up to finish off the rest of the season, since we only have one quarterback on our roster.
Well, how insane would it be if they re-signed Daniel Jones? I don't think Daniel Jones is going back there
No,
anytime
he's
soon.
not going back. No, yeah, Daniel Jones signed a deal with the Vikings. I think he's on the practice squad right now. He'll eventually get promoted to backup spot.
You know, Kevin O'Connell made some very nice comments about Daniel Jones before he signed there. And we had heard that Daniel Jones was looking to go sign and be basically a backup for a contender, right? That's what he wanted to do. He was looking at potentially the Ravens, potentially the Vikings. And Kevin O'Connell said some very nice things about Daniel Jones in between that time, about how he talked to him and, had a good relationship with him from even the draft and stuff like that. So not a surprise to me at all that Daniel Jones goes to Minnesota. Hopefully for them, they don't need him. They would only need him if Sam Darnold goes down, certainly. Right. I still can't believe we're here with this Minnesota Vikings team, a team that, once J.J. McCarthy went down, a lot of people kind of wrote their season away. And Sam Darnold stepped up. That defense has obviously played fantastic, and Minnesota Vikings are going to be a playoff team.
Yep.
Somehow, some way.
Yep. And then Georgia. Did you watch the Georgia Tech game?
Bro, Georgia should be fucking embarrassed, dude.
8 overtimes.
8 overtimes. Georgia should be absolutely embarrassed that it took them 8 overtimes to beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And this is, again, all the SEC guys will say, oh, yeah, let us play an ACC schedule. Let's see, we'll run the gauntlet. We'll run the table. And it's like, well, you just played Georgia Tech at home and needed a huge fourth quarter or second half comeback, and then needed 8 overtimes to get it done against Georgia Tech. Very, very interesting.
Carson Beck's a bum. I've been saying it all year. He's a bum. If he goes in the first round, I don't know. I'm going to go to a third world country and eat the last loaf of bread all to myself.
The thing is, when you look at right now the quarterback prospects, to me, it looks very bleak. This is not like last year when you had a lot of guys who you could genuinely see either had the experience or had the talent to justify drafting in the first round. This year, it's rough. Shedeur Sanders obviously is going to be highly coveted. But after that, I mean, literally guys like Jalen Milroe are in like the top 3 quarterback prospects. And I don't know who would be wanting to fucking get involved with that. But before we get into all of the implications of some of these results in a crazy college football weekend, We got to get to what seemed to be the theme of the night: fights. Fights were the theme of the night for these rivalry weeks, and you always see some scuffles. You get some guys get heated. We know that happens. We understand that happens, and I love seeing guys get heated. I like seeing a little pushing and shoving and things like that. But last night, it was crazy, and it was happening all day long. You had Mike Norville confronting Florida's Billy Napier, snatches Gator flag during post-game fight. See post-game fights where Florida goes to plant their flag on Florida State. They didn't like it very much. Same thing in the North Carolina State game. You saw fights breaking out because of that. But this was really what started it all. And it was the game. Ohio State, Michigan. Ryan Day, who has lost the last 3 Michigan versus Ohio State matchups going into this game. But hey, no Jim Harbaugh, a Michigan team that has not been very good this year, 6-5 before this game. And Ohio State loses to Michigan in Columbus. This is an embarrassing loss for them. There could really be no question about that. But what happened in the aftermath is one of the things that has so many people talking. An on-field view of the Michigan flag plant and the altercation with Ohio State that followed. Let's just watch some of that. It got wrapped around. It didn't really go as well as they probably wanted that to. Got wrapped around a little bit.
Too many people.
Ohio State was not happy about this. And this went on for a long, long time. Pushing and shoving and hands being thrown. It got to the point where pepper spray was brought out by the police. But I mean, we got other images right here. Watch what happens. Here's the pepper spray that comes out eventually. Now, pepper spray is about to come out right now. You can see a little bit of liquid spray, and then you see everyone react. Right there. Ohio State players got pepper sprayed. Michigan players got pepper sprayed. It was pretty fucking wild. And you know what the funniest part is? Ryan Day, the bitch that he is, watch him stand right here and do nothing. Ryan Day, the head coach, just stands there and does nothing as his senior captain, Jack Sawyer, devastatingly cries out, "They're not fucking planting a flag on our fucking field again." Bro.
We're not fucking planting a flag on our field again, bro! Fuck that shit, man! Fuck these guys! We're the flag on our field, fuck you!
Ryan Day just standing there.
Just standing there doing nothing.
Bro, this is rough, dude. And really, this is a conversation about the past 4 years. This is the game that matters. Obviously, everything else matters for, Ohio State, Michigan. But this is the game. And Ryan Day has now lost 4 straight. He looks like a bitch. He acts like a bitch. And this is what happens to your team when you're led by someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about all of the post-game shit? Like, if somebody planted a flag on your field, would you react the way these guys did?
You shouldn't have lost the game. It's football, man. This is college football. You've seen rivalries do this going back to high school football, and then they do it in college football too. It's like, you shouldn't have lost the game. If you're going to get that animated and that upset to the point where you want to fight afterwards because your rival did this, well, you shouldn't have lost the game if you didn't want it to happen. So I don't really give a shit. I think it's fun.
I ultimately like that we had so many fights. I like to see that shit.
You see the Penn State game with the Penn State coach?
The Penn State coach was really the Maryland coach was really mad at the Penn State coach for running the score up, I guess.
And it was the handshake at the end.
Exactly.
The aggressive handshake that he gave, he didn't like that.
And this is by the way, this is an Ohio State team that last week against Indiana, right? At the goal line, faked a victory formation and ran a quarterback sneak to score at the end. Right? So they have no problem fucking disrespecting their opponents and doing shit like that. It was just last week when that happened, right? I think the Indiana-Ohio State matchup was last week or maybe the week before. But to me, if you don't want that to happen, you better fucking prove it on the field. You better not let them fucking beat you.
Mm-hmm.
To the victor go the spoils. And that was hail to the victor yesterday for the Michigan Wolverines. They had a shitty fucking season, but all that matters is they beat Ohio State. That's all a lot of these people are going to think. A lot of these seniors for Ohio State have never beat Michigan. Some of the seniors from Michigan never lost to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy. That's wild. But yes, I like the hate. I like the fights. We can see what happened here. This was North Carolina and NC State.
In the middle of the field with fans on the field, this is not a pretty scene.
This is after North Carolina got beat. He grabbed the flag and he fucking chucked it.
This is not good. This is scary. You got players with their helmets off.
This is a bad scene. Both in the middle of the field, the fight has spilled over to the NC State bench.
Ultimately, I do think it is a bad, as much as I like this shit and I root it on, I do think it's kind of a bad look for college football in general to have all of these fights happening, in these rivalry games, these fucking kids that can't control their emotions at all in any way, shape, or form. I do think overall, nationally, it's probably kind of a bad look for college football, but I don't care personally.
No, there should be 1 week allowed. Rivalry weekend, a weekend like this where it's okay, if you want to fight after the game, go for it. You guys got 5 minutes. Fuck each other up. There should be a new rule.
Everyone takes their helmets off and you get 2 minutes, like a hockey fight or something where they just kind of let them go at it.
Yes. Take your helmets off. If you really want to fuck each other up, you got 2 minutes. You got to take your helmets off and fuck each other up a little bit. 1 week only in college football should that be allowed.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I like it.
Yeah, but it was more than I've ever seen. And it felt like once that was, it feels like everyone's trying to plant the flag and do that shit now anyway. I feel like the first one that got for me that I truly remember was the Baker Mayfield one.
Yes.
You remember that? I'm sure it's happened way before that, but that was the first one that got so much attention, and it's because of how kind of polarizing Baker was and how many people hated Baker. Was
that against Texas when he did that? Was that Texas?
Was it Ohio State?
Might have been Ohio State. It might have been Kansas. When did Baker play?
The Kansas one was when he grabbed his
when he grabs his nuts. Yeah, I saw that. I remember that one. I don't remember when he planted the flag. It was Ohio State? Yeah, it was Ohio State. Okay. Chat's saying it's Ohio State when Baker did it.
Yeah, it was Ohio State. Yeah, so that, Ohio State's been through this before. They're a little triggered, I guess.
Yeah.
They're a little triggered.
They didn't have a problem when Baker did it, though.
I'm sure they had a problem, but it wasn't like everyone was gathered at midfield. That was the thing. It's like you had all Ohio State kind of gathered towards the center of the field, Michigan coming on their side of the 50 and fucking, bro, there's an image. I got to find this. This is probably one of the fucking coolest images I've ever seen. Here it is. Fucking Michigan players spelling out OHIO.
That's hilarious.
As everyone's fucking fighting over this shit. Look at these fucking nerds right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great.
That's like the special teams, long snapper and kicker team right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the special teams players.
Yeah, special teams players. They don't want in on that fight.
Oh, man. Oh, man. But anyway, let's get to some of these chats. And by the way, John Matrix from Black and White Sports, he's spending time with family. He's doing holiday stuff. So that's why he's not here today.
Cool.
So shout out to John. He'll probably be back next week. Dom H gives 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Dom.
Thanks, Dom.
Shout out Dom with his Islanders. Can't believe you abandoned your Giants that quickly, Dom. Can't believe it. Alex McCarthy for 2. My Clemson lost, my Coastal Carolina won. Let's go Jags. Yeah. NFL is going to be a little bit, a little bit light today because we got so many damn games on Thursday and Friday. Mm-hmm. Certainly all of them with their own set of controversies. Between my Bears, bro. I'm ultimately as upset as I was by the loss and how much it sucks. It's sad that this is what needed to happen for Matt Eberflus to be fired. That it had to be on a national stage, right? Where everyone is watching, where fucking great grandma Thelma, right? Great grandma Thelma in fucking middle of buttfuck Nebraska is sitting down and watching the game. And she's like, man, they got a timeout there. It's weird they didn't use it. It said that that's what has to happen for the Bears. And they didn't even fucking do it. They waited until Matt Eberflus goes out there for his Friday morning press conference and says, yeah, we had our meeting. I'm confident that, things will be moving forward. You waited until that and then get roasted again to fire this cocksucker. It is wild to me. It is absolutely crazy. But that's what we needed. That's what we needed to happen. It needed to be the biggest embarrassment possible to show the world what's been going on for the past 6 weeks in Chicago.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game at all?
I did. I did watch the whole game.
Because you're a man and you were watching football during Thanksgiving.
I was watching football, yeah. I was, at that point on Thanksgiving, the food coma kicked in about second quarter of the Lions-Packers game, and I just fucking crashed out on the couch. So I did miss the end of that game. But I did watch the Bears-Lions. Very surprising. The final events of that game with the Bears driving down the field. They had something that was looking good, and you have that timeout there, and you just don't do anything about it.
The whole drive was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it should also, the drive started on the Bears' 1 yard line. And there was no reason for it to start on the Bears' one yard line. DeAndre Carter, for the second week in a row, makes just an absolutely retarded special teams play where he's standing, he's in front of the 10-yard line. And there's kind of Lions players all surrounding him, and he's waving everybody off. The ball bounced at the 12 or something. You got to fair catch that. You got to fair catch that ball and give you some breathing room. But instead, he waves everybody off, almost gets hit by it again, and the ball rolls back to the 1. So they start the drive at the 1. They manage to get out of it. You think you're going to get a play? Offensive pass interference on Cole Kmet. Have a couple nice plays, but all of a sudden it's 4th down, and they get. It didn't look like a great call for defensive pass interference. It was defensive pass interference, and I think DJ Moore didn't really fucking sell it. He kind of gave up. Ultimately, looks like a questionable call, but they get another chance. And then, again, another offensive pass interference penalty on Cole Kmet that backs him up. Oh, sorry. The first penalty was the Keenan Allen one where he got his helmet ripped off, and he was mad. He was mad because he gets his helmet ripped off and kind of throws the ball towards the ref, and it hits the ground and rolls towards the referee. And he gets called unsportsmanlike conduct, not the guy who ripped his helmet off. But all leading up to, you call a quarterback draw with about 36 seconds left, which I'm fine with the call. The right tackle just, backup right tackle, because the right tackle did get injured. The right tackle just fucking whiffs on the play. Isn't even trying to block the right guy. Caleb Williams has the ball for about a second and he fucking goes down. And almost any time in the NFL when you see that happen, you're going to see a timeout, because sacks are the worst thing to happen to you in the 2-minute, because you've got one, all of a sudden everybody has to get behind the original line of scrimmage. Wide receivers are down the field. Took the Bears forever to get lined up. And even if Caleb Williams had snapped that ball at the 10-second mark, they would have got a penalty because their wide receivers were still moving. Similar to the way we saw a penalty in that in that Chiefs Raiders game, which we can talk about that as well. Just a fucking nightmare, dude. A total nightmare. And Matt Eberflus is just standing on the sideline. Matt Eberflus said their plan was to re-rack the same play and snap it at 18 seconds. At 18 seconds, nobody was even back to the line. You got to fucking call the timeout. They can't kick from there because Cairo Santos can't hit a 58-yard field goal.
Right.
He just can't. His career long is 54. And outside of 45, he's extremely rough, like 70% clip outside of 45. But it's a nightmare. I'm glad we got to see another Caleb Williams kind of fourth quarter, put the team on his back kind of thing. But what a fucking mess, dude. What a mess.
And now your interim head coach. Your interim head coach was what? In a matter of a week and a half, he went from the offensive coordinator now to the interim head coach when he was what? Just like an offensive assistant?
Thomas Brown was the passing game coordinator, and then 17 days later, he was the head coach of Chicago Bears.
That is fucking wild. That is insane.
I have my own set of issues with them making Thomas Brown the head coach. I really like Thomas Brown. I fucking love his attitude. I love his personality. I love what he demands from the players. I love that the players like him. I like a lot of shit. But, man, it feels like we've just fucking changed so many things, like what we needed for our offensive coordinator, right? Like, all of a sudden, this team looks completely different over the past 3 weeks because they've made those changes. And that's with Thomas Brown being up in the box calling plays.
Now he's the head coach.
Now how is that going to change with he's the head? So now he's going to be on the sidelines. Is he still going to be the one calling the plays? Like, that's the part. So I like Thomas Brown. I appreciate the fact that he's getting a chance. He's more deserving of it than anybody else on the roster. But is that going to affect this offense that for the past 3 weeks has looked very different?
Right.
And I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But we'll fucking see. Bears get some time off after Thanksgiving. Thank God.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, he led the Trojans out of the tunnel yesterday.
He did. They did a little jersey retirement for him.
Yep.
So, yep. But, you know, overall, that first half was fucking rough, mostly because the Lions were just doing whatever they wanted. Did you see Jahmyr Gibbs, what he posted on social media?
I did not see what he posted on social media.
Jahmyr Gibbs, let's see if I can find this. Jahmyr Gibbs may be in some trouble. Let's see. Gibbs whiteboard. Maybe if I look whiteboard, I'll find it. He posted essentially a picture of him in front of oh, here it is. Bro, this is not good for him. This isn't like he's in legal trouble. Like, this is just, fuck, he shouldn't have done this. Running back for the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs is catching some heat for posting this picture in front of a whiteboard with some interesting details on it. This is like a bunch of different plays and drop back protections and things like that for the Lions. And Jahmyr Gibbs posted this. Jahmyr Gibbs posted this. So I don't think he was very happy about it. And Dan Campbell found out while he was at a press conference.
So this is Lions plays that he posted?
Yes. Yeah, specifically, like you could see right there, drop back protection schemes, things like that, different calls. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, would they have changed them anyway? Would they change them week to week?
That doesn't look like Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs took the picture.
Oh.
Peep the camera work, though. I think Jahmyr posted this. Not that that's him.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's all a fake. Maybe it's
Very
just
interesting.
bullshit, and it's like a whole scheme. Dan Campbell was like, "Hey guys, put up some fake shit up there, and
Could be.
we're gonna put out this picture. We're gonna pretend like we're really mad at you, and then it's all gonna be bullshit." Maybe
That'd be some 3D chess.
it would be. That'd be some Belichick stuff. You see,
Right.
Belichick was fucking. Belichick is the only thing worth watching on Manning Cast, in my opinion. I know you're a fan of Manning Cast for Monday nights. I really enjoy like the second quarter, whatever. Usually they have Belichick there.
Right.
I like that. I really like listening to Belichick and listening to those two. When they start bringing in
Celebrities and stuff.
I give no fucks. It's awkward. It's weird. It's stupid. Was it? It was the Wilson brothers, I think, the other night. It was like Owen and Luke Wilson.
Okay.
Like, fuck, can we just talk about football and not have to force this dumb shit in there?
Yeah. They bring on a whole bunch of people that they got like a brand new show coming out on ABC, and they're like, "Oh, here's Jason Sudeikis from Ted Lasso," and it's like, all right, come on. I like Jason Sudeikis. I don't want to hear what he thinks about fucking football.
Yeah, and I especially don't need the fucking awkward interactions between Peyton and Eli and those people, whoever's on there.
Right.
But Belichick is good on there.
When Belichick is on there, and other NFL players, like you got Gronk on there a few times. Like
Vrabel was on. It was good with Vrabel, who
Pat McAfee goes on. Yeah, like those guys are good. But yeah, I don't like when they bring like the actors and celebrities and Barack Obama on the Manning Cast. That shit's gay. But I do like the Manning Cast over Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They might be the worst play-by-play and color commentators in the business. Those guys fucking stink.
Did you hear Jason Garrett on?
Oh, Jason Garrett. He is a bad color commentator for sure.
Jason Garrett was really rough to listen to. That was the night game on Thursday.
Okay.
And yeah, that was fucking rough. That was bad. All right, where are we at? Mick Walsh for 2. The fuck guys would be doing the same in Ann Arbor. And they'd probably be excited to win for the first time in 4 years. Chris Coran for 2. Fuck Ohio State. Ryan's wish came true. My wish of, my Thanksgiving was ruined, but then my Black Friday was saved because it was a Black Friday for Matt Eberflus, and his bitch ass got fired. I was excited about that. Usually it's Black Monday in the NFL, but we had an actual Black Friday. Chiefs slinging beef, go Vols. Hope we get a home playoff game. Salute, guys. Yeah, maybe. We should talk about all the happenings in college football. Let me get over to the let's go to college football scores. Because we did have some interesting results. So there's no doubt about that. Georgia barely escaping Georgia Tech. Georgia and Texas will play in the SEC championship. Texas might win the SEC have a chance to win the SEC championship their first year there. So interesting. Boise State takes care of business against Oregon State. Boise State will go on to the Mountain West Championship against BYU, I believe. So that's a pretty important game. At least I think that's who's playing. Ole Miss beats terrible fucking Mississippi State. Colorado puts it on Oklahoma State. Trying to do everything they can to make sure Travis Hunter wins the Heisman.
Yep.
And I mean, I think it's a done deal at this point for him. But when you look at what GD's doing for Boise State, it's fucking insane. Let's actually see. We can look at Ashton Genie's numbers.
Yeah, he's an alien, dude. He's so freaking good.
Right now, he's probably going to end the season. So let's project these numbers out for like their, for their conference championship game. Say he gets 150 rushing yards, right? We're looking at 2,400 yards, potentially 30 touchdown season.
Yeah.
That is leaps and bounds better than the last 2 certainly running backs that have won the Heisman. It's not even fucking close. Now you can talk about their competition. You absolutely talk about things like that, but I don't know how much worse their competition is than some of these teams that have been playing in the Big 12 this year either. It's not like Big 12 is the SEC. They're best two teams left for the SEC. So I think Travis Hunter is going to win it. Arguably one of the best receivers in the country. Very talented, but I don't even think he's going to be in the nomination for best DB in the country. But he's doing it on two sides of the field. Obviously, Ashton Gini's putting up incredible numbers just as a running back.
Yeah.
But that's going to go down in history as probably the most incredible running back season that did not get a Heisman. Like, there's a definite chance that happens.
Yep, absolutely.
So I want to look. God, I hope I bookmarked it.
I do think he should win the Heisman over Travis Hunter.
If I had a vote, I'd vote for him.
Yeah, me too.
I would. I just don't think he's going to because the Dion effect. The fact that since like week 5, this dumb bitch has been fucking doing Heisman poses.
Right.
Like they're running up scores and forcing him the ball to try to get him the Heisman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if I bookmarked that because I mean the last two running backs to win the Heisman are Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, right?
Derrick Henry.
Let's see. Heisman. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, those numbers are nuts.
I think at this point, he's just about even or just passed up where Derrick Henry was at when Derrick Henry won the Heisman. I was looking at a side-by-side of their stats before yesterday.
Oh, I don't even think it's... I don't even know if it's close to Derrick Henry's. I think it's above Derrick Henry's.
He did have... I think he had more yards. I can't remember if Derrick Henry had more all-purpose yards, but Genie had more rushing yards.
Derrick Henry Heisman stats. Yeah, so rushing yards for Derrick Henry, rushing yards 1,986, rushing touchdowns 23. So Ashton Genie's sitting there at over almost 2,300 yards and 28 touchdowns right now.
Yeah.
Now, it's Mountain West versus fucking SEC.
This is true.
It does need to be factored in, but still, that's crazy numbers. That's crazy numbers.
Yep.
But to get back to some of these results, now Boise State obviously looking to be a college football playoff team.
Yep.
Ole Miss, could they still potentially be in the hunt for the college football playoff with 3 losses? You got a lot of 3-loss teams in the SEC that are now looking at that. South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss. Like, are any of those teams going to make it in? Indiana beat the living fuck out of Purdue. That is, I don't think we've ever, that's probably the worst loss that we've ever had to the Indiana Hoosiers. A 1-11 Purdue team. I don't think I've ever lived to see that before in my life. It is fucking pathetic. I'm going to burn Rossade to the fucking ground, but Indiana's going to be in. Oregon, very convincing performance. Oregon still hasn't lost. Oregon and Penn State are going to play in the Big Ten championship. I think both those teams, regardless of what happens, well, obviously Oregon, but Penn State, regardless of what happens, they're going to be in as well. But who will get the first round bye? That'll be the question. Ohio State losing to Michigan. I think Ohio State stays in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, now they've had some rough moments, but they've only lost 2 games, 1 to Oregon and 1 to Michigan. But this one is bad. That is a bad fucking loss. Texas doesn't dominate or anything, but they were in control of the entire game. That defense for Texas looks nasty, and Texas is playing Georgia for the SEC championship. I think regardless of what happens, I think you can safely say both those teams in the college football playoff. Yep. There's Penn State. Fucking Notre Dame's in the college football playoff too. That's cocksuckers.
Yep.
You know, interestingly enough, you know who Boise State's only loss is to?
Ooh, I don't.
Their only loss is to Oregon. And it was a close fucking game.
That's right.
37-34.
Yeah.
So Boise State's only loss of the year is a close loss to Oregon. So So just if you're wondering, does Boise State belong, stuff like that.
Syracuse
Tennessee
over
takes,
the U.
This game. Kyle McCord was happy that the team he left, who blamed him for all their losses in Ohio State, fucking loses to Michigan at the same time that he beats Miami.
Yep.
And I haven't been high on Miami all fucking season long. I thought they were kind of a fucking joke. Now they get knocked out of the ACC championship game, I'm pretty sure. That's going to be SMU and Clemson. Miami's done. Have they done enough to make the playoff? That's the question, I guess.
It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting because it's all going to come down to a committee, right? It's going to come down to a committee vote to see who actually gets in.
Yeah, for sure. Like the 13-person committee. That's what's happening in the college football playoffs. So, we'll know a lot after this week because, obviously the last several years with a 14 playoff, you really have to wait till these conference championship games are over. You can have an idea of what's going to happen, but the conference championships were so important. Conference championships are still going to be important in determining who gets the buys. But, I think we're going to be able to know a lot based on what they put off as the second to last college football rankings, because a lot of the other teams that are going to be affected, aren't playing in these conference championships.
Right.
Tennessee, I think Tennessee's done enough, especially after beating Vanderbilt. They're going to be in a 2-loss SEC team.
Yeah.
SMU undefeated in the ACC. Undefeated. Will be playing Clemson for the ACC championship, who just fucking lost to South Carolina.
Yep.
South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss, all 3-loss SEC teams. Unfortunately, South Carolina has losses to both Alabama and Ole Miss. It's going to be kind of crazy to see what happens there. Alabama gets it done against Auburn. Jalen Milroe scores his 20th touchdown of the season. Congratulations. And then Arizona State and Iowa State are going to be the two teams facing off for the Big 12 championship. Arizona State, a big win over Arizona, obviously, after having a big game last week to get themselves in this position.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man.
It is going to be interesting. And I want to go to next week. So I want to make sure I'm right about some of these matchups. Sorry, it's not Mountain West. It's not BYU because BYU's in the Big 12 now. It's UNLV and Boise State in their conference championship. UNLV and Boise State. I think Boise State will take care of business.
Yeah.
And then Iowa State, Arizona State, Georgia, Texas, Penn State, Oregon, Clemson, SMU. Look at that.
Yep. And Georgia and Texas played each other earlier this year. And Georgia's defense absolutely stopped Texas offense.
There's your boy Carson Beck with 12 interceptions.
Dude is a fucking joke. Arch Manning got some playing time yesterday. He had himself a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge game, obviously.
Huge game. Hopefully Sarkisian has learned from his mistakes from the last time they played Georgia, because I think a lot of that loss is on Steve Sarkisian. And obviously Georgia's defense just played out of their mind. They were just flying around everywhere. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Ryan's just going to go ahead and full screen me. So you're stuck with my ugly mug because I guess Ryan accidentally closed out of
I bet,
is.
I accidentally clicked the back button on my mouse, which takes me back to StreamYard. I'm still here.
There you go.
I was so startled by some of these results, That's really what happened. But all right, let's get back to some of these. That's the one that made me talk about that. Go Vols. Hope we get a home playoff game. You certainly got a chance. Jonathan Bordoso, Ryan, you still have the timeout to use? We do. Rumor has it Matt Eberflus is still at Ford Field, ready to use his timeout. So everything about that dude is a fucking joke. Even the challenge that he made in the first half.
Yes.
When it was so clear and obvious to everyone that that was not a fucking fumble. That it was not, he didn't complete the fucking catch. Matt Eberflus throws a flag. Matt Eberflus has the worst record in history of the NFL when it comes to one-score games as a head coach. He also may have the worst record in terms of challenges. I think he's 2-9 all time in challenging plays, and he's fucking 0-5 this year. And then it was actually really funny. The one that got really missed bad by the refs, I think it might have been Sam Laporta, who caught one on the sidelines, and very clearly he did not get both feet, and he bobbled the ball. It was definitely not a catch. The one that Matt Eberflus threw that flag down as fast as possible because like I can finally win one. The refs come in with replay assistance and say it happened before he threw the flag, so no challenge. So he doesn't even get to win the easy one.
That's funny.
Fucking retard, man. Cole Hauser, good morning, Ryan and Beardo. Ryan, you get my DM where the Toronto Maple Leafs and Molson, our Canadian garbage video, told a YouTuber he can't drink Budweiser in his own man cave wearing a Leafs jersey? What?
Are you serious?
If the YouTuber might have a deal or something, like you can't just say that in general. Like,
yeah, unless he's got like if he's sponsored.
Yeah, there might be something, or maybe he has like an official relationship with the team. Like there are some ways where I could see that happen. I also don't know fucking Canada. Maybe you guys can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? Cole Hauser, 2 red states at odds. It's the entire SEC. But yes, also Michigan and Ohio. Gus Johnson treated that Michigan flag plant like a national tragedy. Gus Johnson, I'm sick of Gus Johnson. Just going to say it. Gus Johnson calls were very special like several years ago because they seem so genuine. Now it feels like he's always trying to create like a crazy fucking moment by yelling and screaming. And also he 100% called that game as like an Ohio State homer. Including when the Michigan head coach is like waving bye to the Ohio State fans after the game. He's like, and he's down on the sideline saying, we didn't have to cheat this time. And like Gus Johnson absolutely called that like as a homer, which felt a little bit off. But that's a big part of this story too. Because remember, for the past year, Ohio State fans have been coping and seething about the Connor Stallion stuff. Claiming that this is why we got beat by Michigan so many times. And now clearly when you have the better team, you have all this momentum, you've got the better team this year, and you fucking lose to Michigan in your own house. You got no excuses now.
Yeah, it kind of puts all the other years, like whatever, sanctions and, potential cheating that Michigan was doing, kind of puts that argument all to rest now.
It really does. It really does. And Connor Stallion was like, he was posting pics and stuff of the game. He's like, got told I couldn't go into the stadium, so I thought I'd watch it from here, blah, 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 stuff like that.
That's funny.
And Dave Portnoy was having a blast with it, obviously, too.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of videos from Dave Portnoy yesterday about that.
Portnoy was going absolutely crazy.
Yep, I loved it.
From Notre Dame getting in the playoffs to Colorado damn near getting in, gotta go make sure the sky is blue. And I said it before, Ohio State didn't listen. Damn, hashtag fire Ryan Day. Look at the rest of the season. I obviously they're going to be in the college football playoff. Unfortunate for them, things could have turned out very differently if they hadn't lost that game. But to me, the most coveted spot, obviously everybody wants a first round bye, but that coveted spot is going to be that number 5 seed who will get a home game against the 12th team. They get to host a college football playoff game. And then their next matchup will be against the number 4 team, which in all likelihood will probably be Boise State. If things kind of play out this way, probably will be Boise State. So I don't fucking know, man. That's where I'd be aiming if I were one of those teams. I want to get that 5 seed. Fucking Notre Dame, dude. Did you watch that whole game?
Notre Dame USC.
Yeah, USC.
Notre Dame USC. I didn't catch the end of it, but I did catch the highlights of the back-to-back pick sixes. But I did watch the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, that game was not like some runaway win for Notre Dame. There was two 99-yard pick sixes in probably the last, I don't know, 5 minutes or something of the game. USC was down by a touchdown, I think 28-35, marched down the field, threw a pick at the goal line that gets returned for a touchdown. Next possession, drives down the field again with about a minute, 30 seconds left, throws another pick six.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the final score isn't really necessarily indicative of how the game went. It was a little bit closer.
Right.
But bad fucking year for USC, dude.
Yep. A lot of people calling for Lincoln Riley's head. They don't want Lincoln Riley down there in at
Who's
USC
gonna replace
anymore.
him?
Fuck if I know. Pete Carroll.
Bro, what if Pete Carroll goes back, actually?
You never know.
Now that there's no more, like, fucking recruiting violations or anything worry about. Like,
Right, yeah.
Pete Carroll would be the fucking man.
Yep. You can pay all your players. You can pay all your players' moms. Give them all Escalades. Why not?
That's true. Didn't think about that. But yeah, 6-6 season for USC. 9th in the Big Ten. Big Ten, just too good at football for those people out west. You know what I mean? Got to run through the gauntlet of the Purdue Boilermakers. So, Connor Akers for $2.99. Who's better at knockouts, Mike Tyson or Bill Cosby?
They're both a GOAT.
I think in their old age, Bill Cosby got better.
Yeah.
Mike Hill for $5. Ryan, thought you would have shown up with a paper bag over your head after that embarrassing Purdue loss. No, unlike Jeremy, I show up when my team gets annihilated. It's all right. Fuck. If I had to not show up every time one of my teams had an embarrassing loss, I'd never do the stream.
Right.
I'm pretty miserable. So, Taker 5. Eberflus firing reminded me of the time I got fired as a car salesman after showing up to and sitting through the Friday morning sales meeting. The thing with this firing is the Bears. The Bears are owned by, the McCaskies. It's been in their fucking family forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, obviously. We got this storied history, it's fucking over 100 years and we've never fired a coach in the middle of the season. And they act like that's something that they're proud of. That's great. That's a cool little factoid. But if you don't do it when it should happen, then you're fucked. After that game, Matt Eberflus got screamed out of his fucking own locker room by the players. The players, including guys like Jalen Johnson, were screaming at Matt Eberflus and bitching at him all over, not calling the fucking timeout. They were fucking ripping into him. This is not a team that believes in Matt Eberflus, and they haven't really since close to the beginning of the season. And now the reports are out of Chicago that they want to hire a leader of men type of guy. If only you'd thought about that when the rest of the universe thought about it last year when Jim Harbaugh was looking for a place to go. It's not like Jim Harbaugh decided to go to the Chargers over the Bears. The Bears never even talked to him. The Bears said, we're sticking with our guy, Matt Eberflus, and that's the bottom line. Never even talked to Harbaugh or Vrabel or Belichick, any of these guys that were out there. Mike Vrabel could be a name that people are throwing around. I like Mike Vrabel's attitude. I think he is kind of one of those guys.
Yeah.
I still think the Bears need someone who is a little more offensive minded than Matt Vrabel, despite the fact that he's caught, 13 touchdowns in his career or whatever. I do feel like you probably need the pairing of a really good offensive mind, in my mind. That's what I think. But I don't know.
Shit, I like Mike Vrabel. I would take Mike
like
Vrabel as the head coach for the Giants next year.
I wouldn't sit there and fucking pound my fist and be mad if the Bears hired Mike Vrabel.
Right.
But when you look at it, Ben Johnson is going to be the most highly sought after guy, Lions offensive lineman. You got Brady from the Bills as the offensive coordinator, who people are going to be looking at. The thing about Ben Johnson, I love from the standpoint of his offensive play calls. I don't know too much about him, the guy, his attitude, his leadership. I don't know. So that's the only thing that makes me kind of wonder, Like you look at Sean McVay, right? Sean McVay, brilliant offensive mind, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff goes to the Rams. But he's after it. You know what I mean? He's very fucking vocal. He's very, very fiery on the sidelines and stuff like that. That's great. If you get a guy who's just fucking a little bit quiet, like Mark Trestman, when the Bears hired Mark Trestman, that fucking nerd, that piece of shit, like that's a terrible fucking hire. So
yeah, shit. Who was another guy like that? Was the old Chargers head coach? Fucking weird little dainty looking dude. He was doing the weird stretches. What was his name?
He just got fired.
He just got fired last year. He was doing the weird gay stretches on the field. The fuck was his name? Brian Staley.
Yes, Brian Staley. That's
Brian Staley. That fucking weirdo, dude. Like, your football coach should not look like Brandon Staley. Yeah, Brandon Staley. Your football coach should not look like Brandon Staley. Like, you have to have a certain fucking look in the NFL. If you're a head coach, Mike McDaniel, he's not as bad as Brandon Staley. Okay,
I don't know, man. Mike McDaniel, I don't know how long that's going to work. People can throw out the cold weather stats all you want. Ultimately, this is a team that's like 1-18 against teams with winning records.
Right.
This is who the Dolphins are. They beat the shit out of really bad teams and put up crazy numbers and pull out a bunch of trick plays, all this shit, right? Oh, look at them. They're fucking beating the shit out of them. But when they play teams that are above average, they don't win, period. So I actually don't know how long the Mike McDaniel era is going to last. I think people are going to get a little bit sick of his shtick too if he can't beat good teams.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Antonio Pierce is going to get fired soon.
Antonio Pierce is going to get fired. That's another game we can talk about. The Black Friday game, the Raiders and the Chiefs.
The fucking end of that game.
Ridiculous, dude.
I mean, like, ultimately, it is the right call. It was the right call. But the chaos that ensued because of that is wild. The Chiefs are the shittiest 11-1 team in history.
They are. They really are.
And when you even the way they won the first game of the season against the Ravens, the toe on the line, getting the blocked field goal against Denver, obviously that's a testament to their skill, but still it takes an element of skill and just happen to do it right to block a field goal like that, especially at the end of the game. They had the drive extended by the properly called defensive pass interference against who the fuck was that? The Bills? No, not the Bills, because they got beat by the Bills. But yeah, the Chiefs are the worst 11-1 team maybe we've ever seen.
The Bengals had a pass interference.
That's right. Yeah, that kind of bang play on the Bengals.
Yeah. But there was also several moments where the Bengals could have sealed that one away too. Like Joe Burrow, he had a fumble, scoop and score, defensive touchdown for the Chiefs, and then on the next drive, where the Bengals have a chance again, I don't even know if they scored. Like, they kicked the field goal and then the pass interference, and it's like, you can't hand these games. You're not gonna, like you've said all season, you're not going to accidentally beat the Chiefs. Like, the Bills showed the playbook, they showed the blueprint on how to beat the Chiefs, and you just got to step on their fucking throat, and you just got to beat them for the entirety of the game. Like, you have to make almost no mistakes to beat the Chiefs, because they will fucking find a way to win. Even though they're not that great, Travis Kelce is having maybe one of the worst years of his career as far as completions, touchdowns, and drops. He has Travis Kelce has maybe 2 touchdowns on the season this year, just off the top of my head. He's not playing well. Patrick Mahomes is not getting the ball.
He's fucking old.
To Kelce, and he's old. He is old. They got Pacheco back, but yeah, the end of that game, it kind of looked like the end of the Bears game. The Raiders were driving down the field. Aiden O'Connell was slinging the rock, threading the needle. They got a few seconds left, and I believe they had no timeouts, because they used their timeouts to slow Kansas City's last drive.
They had just spiked the ball, I believe.
Yes, they had just.
So the clock was not running, but the play clock was running down.
Right.
And I think ultimately that's what happened, because we'll go. I actually might have a breakdown here of it. where I can see
Now
some of it in slow motion.
The question is, if that last play, is it a false start on the center or was it illegal procedure?
No, well, it was illegal shift.
Illegal
100%. It was an illegal shift. Now, here's the kicker. Illegal shifts in that period, like when the clock's running down, end of the game type of things, illegal shifts with a clock running are converted into false starts.
Okay.
Right? Whereas if the clock is not running, it stays as an illegal shift. Probably just so people can't try to take advantage of the situations to stop the clock and things like that, right? And we can show it. Like the call is not on the center. The call is on the receivers who are not set. And by the way, this same penalty would have been called if Caleb Williams had snapped the ball at the 12-second, 10-second, 9-second mark in the game, because his receivers were still adjusting, just for the record. But I think we can go to that play.
It was 19-17, and the Raiders, who their kicker, by the way, had missed 3 field goals prior to this. Three field goals missed. They were trying to get into position for him to maybe make one, because I think he missed all the field goals that game so far. 19-17, and they're just trying to just get into field goal range.
Yeah, so you can see, obviously, the receiver has to stop moving before you can snap the ball. And we'll see the ball get snapped while this receiver, and this one too, might still be moving. But watch.
We just got to get moving. So there's that moment of probably not a ton of.
Now, the real controversy comes into play when this judge comes in signaling this, and this judge down there comes in signaling illegal shift. And then the referees had to fucking get together. The other thing is that if this motherfucker had blown his whistle 1 second earlier, I don't think they could have let the Chiefs recover this. Because if it had blown dead 1 second earlier, you wouldn't have your clear recovery. It's like the fucking universe aligns, bro. It's insane. And I can't wait to, like, the Chiefs, there's no way the Chiefs are a Super Bowl team this year. They just can't be. But they continue to need plays like this to beat the Raiders, plays like a blocked field goal to beat the Broncos. It was the wrong call. They changed the call. No, that is 100% the right call. That is not a false start. There's no false start there. That's not a false start. It was because the receivers had not even stopped yet. So it was an illegal shift. Unfortunately, it's the right call, and unfortunately, it allows the Kansas City Chiefs to win another game that they could potentially have lost.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. And I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit too. But ultimately, that was the right call.
Yeah. Just sucks. It was right there. It was right there.
We're at the point now where people are so mad they would rather the refs call it wrong so the Chiefs don't win. And I get that. I'm fucking sick and tired of them winning games they don't deserve to win when they play like that. But I don't have a fucking Kansas City Chiefs hate boner.
I do. Fuck them. Just give the Raiders one more play. See if the 0-3 kicker could have made it 0-4. That'd have been funny.
It does suck because, like, Aiden O'Connell had such a good game, you know?
Right.
Coming back for the Raiders, he's been dealing with the injury. Gardner Minshew had been filling in. I like Aiden O'Connell for the sole reason I'm a Purdue guy, so I want to see Aiden O'Connell succeed.
He played decent. He played decent on Friday.
He did. He played as. I feel like he played as well as you could have asked him to, especially against a good Chiefs defense like that.
Yeah.
What were his numbers in the game? Let's see.
You'll probably get it faster than I will.
Why the fuck can't I see it? All these damn games that have already happened. Here it is. Aiden O'Connell, 23 for 35, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, Aiden O'Connell.
That's a solid fucking performance.
Yeah.
It's just the Raiders' idiot kicker. If he had made those 3 field goals, they wouldn't have been in that position. They would have won comfortably.
Very true. Jose Contreras on Rumble has an update for us in our picks. Ryan was 7-5, 108-54. Beardo was 8-4 last week to improve to 90-70. Look at that.
Let's
or
go.
92-70. Look at that. You got me. Butter Biscuit, freaking out. Oklahoma got cooked yesterday. Can't stand Jackson Arnold. Can't wait till they get a quarterback. Hopefully the Steelers show up today and take names. Hate rooting for the Eagles, but got to this week. We're going to get to those games. Don't worry. We actually probably got to hurry up a little bit. We still got a bunch of Boise State running back. His last name is pronounced Genty. I say Genty. Genty. Ashton Genty.
Who cares?
Dumb Age, what are your thoughts on the Raiders-Chiefs game ending? Well, we just gave them to you. After the worst season in Florida State history, do you think bringing in Gus Malzahn will be able to change things up? That was an embarrassing. Like, Florida State went from bitching about not being in the playoff to this, which is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. But it can't get worse than it got this year. Fuck you, Ryan. Notre Dame rules. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Hashtag shout out West Texas, says Stephen De Leon. They're in the college football playoff. We'll see how they play. Chiefs slinging beef. Looking forward to another Boise statue play. Another Boise statue replay. Yeah. Gus Malzahn's an insufferable punk.
Gus who?
Gus
Who'd
Johnson. Sorry, not Gus Malzahn. No, sorry. Gus Johnson's an insufferable prick. I also said punk instead of prick. I'm just making up things I want to say. Nandy O, Eagles versus Ravens, the best Super Bowl outcome in my opinion.
I don't know about the best. It'd be interesting. I don't know about the best. The best right now would be
I want
Bills
to see
Lions.
Lions Bills.
Yep. Bills Lions would be the best Super Bowl right now.
Ryan, you called Ben Johnson, Detroit's offensive lineman. He's an offensive coordinator. I'm fucking tired, all right, man. Yes, he's their offensive lineman. I haven't seen him as a head coach. I've just seen him as an offensive lineman. Someone said Brock Bowers might be the best tight end in football.
He is.
I don't know if there's anyone you can say is better than him. His season's insane. He's on pace for like 120 receptions or something.
Yep.
Let's see. I think we said all of these. We're caught up there. John Getz for a buck. Go Steelers. Fuck Joe Burrow. Go Penn State in the Big Ten Championship.
Damn.
Yeah, Penn State will be playing in the Big Ten Championship. We might as well do these picks real quick, and then we'll try to get to the trans volleyball stuff. We started talking about a lot of other shit. But NFL scores. This is going to be a shitty Sunday. Like, because so many games have already been played. So red zone's going to be more boring than it normally is. But we'll start it off here. Chargers, Falcons.
Yeah.
Tough game. Tough matchup.
Interesting game to pick.
Who have, the Falcons have won some close games. They've lost some games people felt they should have won. And the Chargers obviously have been playing extremely well, coming off that loss to the Ravens. Man. I'm sticking with Jim. And I'll call it Chargers home victory. It's tough though. Or a Chargers away victory. That's a tough fucking pick. It's a tough game.
This is an interesting game because it's in Atlanta, indoors. I know the Chargers play indoors too. But Kirk Cousins in a dome, sometimes he just pops off and you never know. I do like this Chargers team. I'm going to go with the Chargers, and I'm going to lay the points with the Chargers. I think they win. No, I would lay the points with the Falcons. I'm picking the Chargers to cover, and I'm picking them to win too.
They're going to cover the 1 point spread?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, if they win, obviously.
Yeah, I'm picking them to cover, but not to win. The spread's 1 point. Steelers, Bengals. Now, since he's favored in this one, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, he's Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's played insane. His offense has played incredibly well. Steelers coming off a loss to the Browns. Granted, it was in a snow game. Oh, man. I think the Bengals come alive. And I think the Bengals win at home and the Steelers drop 2 in a row.
I like the Bengals too. I'm going the Bengals 46.5-point total. Fuck. This game might go over. I'm going to take the over on the total, and I like the Bengals. I'm going to lay the points with the Bengals -3.
The Bengals have had so many bad things go their way this season. Something has to change.
I know.
And you know, I think the Steelers are fucking incredible. Obviously, that defense is insane. They're going to be after Joe Burrow. But yeah, I'm taking the Bengals. Cardinals Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings at home in this game, but I don't feel great about it. Now, granted, the only quarterback really to do significant damage to the Minnesota Vikings this year has been Caleb Williams. He has given all other quarterbacks fits with the defense and that secondary back there. But I'm taking the Vikings at home.
I'm going Vikings too.
If this is in Arizona, I think I'm probably taking Arizona.
Okay. I think I would have taken Minnesota regardless, but I like the Vikings, and I think they're going to cover that 3.5 as well. They're going to win by more than 4.
It is now, of course, by the time, now that we're talking these games, that the weather is going to be a factor because it's going to be 32 degrees in Cincinnati. So that could affect that game. It's going to be 38 degrees when the Colts go up to Gillette Stadium to face the New England Patriots.
This is a
game. Fucking nasty game that I want no part of.
Yeah, no, fuck this game.
I'm taking the Patriots at home, actually.
That's crazy. I don't hate it though. I'm gonna go Colts, but I don't love it. But I gotta pick differently than you, at least a few of these games. So I'm gonna go Colts.
They're favored.
I hate it though, but I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, I think we'll see how Anthony Richardson does in the 38-degree weather. We'll see how Drake May does in the 38-degree weather. Seahawks and Jets. Geno Smith makes his triumphant return to play against the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. And Geno Smith wins.
I'm picking the Jets. Fuck the bum-ass Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. I think the Jets. And they're favored, too. That's crazy.
I don't know how the Jets are favored.
I don't know how they're favored either. Give me the Jets. Maybe the books know something.
Maybe people are betting because they still think Aaron Rodgers is on the team and that matters now. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Titans Commanders. Washington's favored by 6. Washington has honestly not played great past couple weeks in general. They're falling to 7-5 now. The Titans pulled a big upset last week. I don't think we're going to see the same thing, but I don't know if they're going to make the game easy though. I don't think the Titans are going to make it easy on the Commanders. I think it's going to be close. But I got Commanders pulling it out. Yeah.
I like the Redskins, but I agree with you. I think the Titans are going to keep this game close. Maybe take the under on this game, 44.5. And I like the Redskins.
Duck Nation, you guys keep picking against the Seahawks past couple weeks and you're losing. I fucking picked them. What are you talking about? I picked the Seahawks. Texans and Jags. Texans need, the fact that Houston's only favored by 3 in this game is telling of how much they have struggled. Actually struggled. CJ Stroud has struggled this year.
AFC South matchup.
The Texans are picking the Texans to win, but I said it last week. I picked the Texans to win, but I said the Titans are going to make it a fucking tough game and keep it close. I didn't think they'd win the goddamn thing, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
Houston needs to have this game. They have to have it.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a must-win game for the Texans, so I'm going to pick them for that reason alone, that this is a must-win for them. But I think the Jaguars could keep it close.
Unfortunately, I think that's true. And then we got 3 afternoon games. We got Rams and Saints. See, it's weeks like this that I hate, when you have a lot of road favorites.
Correct.
Because then you never know what can fucking happen.
Yep.
God, I feel like every time I pick the Rams, they fucking lose. And whenever I pick against them, they win. But the Saints are on that 2-game winning streak. Rams are going to bring it to an end. Rams are going to win.
Okay. All right. I'm picking the Saints. I think the Saints could have a big day today at home. And I think that the Rams are still kind of pretenders, even though they've won some convincing games. They've also lost some ugly games.
Pretenders? They're 5-6. What do you mean? What are they pretending for?
Well, at least they're contending in like they've been decent when they've got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They have looked decent in the past couple of weeks. But yes, you're right. They are 5-6. They've been banged up in the beginning of the year. They're still in contention for the NFC West. They're still not out of that race yet. But no, I like
that one.
I like the Saints.
All right, we're different there. Buccaneers, Panthers. The Panthers who almost knocked off the Chiefs. Bro,
I know.
The Chiefs were almost beat consecutive weeks by the Panthers and the Raiders.
I know. And it looks like the second stint with Bryce Young this year, he's played better the past 3 weeks since he's been back.
I felt like that benching did him good, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I felt like the benching did him good. I'm taking Tampa in this, obviously. I would run through a wall for Baker Mayfield.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not even really a Tampa fan, but I would run through a wall for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I would love to play with that guy.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield's fucking awesome. Give me the Bucs, man. I love the Bucs, especially today in Carolina. And NFC South matchup though, but I still like the Bucs, and I don't even know if it's going to be close. 6.5. I'm going to lay that 6.5 with Tampa. I think they win by a touchdown.
Eagles Ravens is the big old CBS game of the week. I don't even know what you think about this game. I think that I'm picking the Ravens because it's at home. But the Eagles, as long as they stick with Saquon, the fucking Eagles look nasty. This is going to be a match between Saquon and Derrick Henry. That's really been the problems for both of these teams. Anytime either of these teams get away from doing what they do best and handing the ball off to their running back, you can start to see some struggles occur. Lamar Jackson has obviously played great this year, but it's when they decide to focus on the passing game and start ignoring Derrick Henry where the struggles for the Ravens start to happen. And obviously same thing with the Eagles. If they don't keep Saquon going, it can be rough.
Yeah, I'm picking the Eagles. I think Saquon's going to have another big week.
You think he's going to have another 250-yard rushing game?
I don't know if it's going to be that crazy, but I think he's going to have a handful of touchdowns today. He's just got all the momentum right now. And I think that old head, what's their offensive their offensive coordinator went to Boise State, quarterback, Kellen Moore. Yeah. Hey, listen, Kellen Moore, he's didn't do well in Dallas. He's bounced around a few different places. He seems to know what the fuck to do with Saquon Barkley there in Philadelphia. So I like what I'm seeing from that offense right now. Give me the Eagles.
Is Roquan Smith back in? Let's see. Roquan Smith will probably be playing. He was a full participant in practice a couple days ago. So Roquan Smith being back in the center of that defense is a big deal for the Ravens. So I think that's going to help against Saquon. At least limit him. But I'm taking the Ravens. And then tonight, very appropriate for the 49ers to be the featured team on International AIDS Day or whatever the fuck it is. But the 49ers are traveling up to Buffalo to play the Bills. I believe Brock Purdy is on track to play in the game, other than like maybe a setback that could happen. But I'm taking the Bills at home in the motherfucking snow if it is going to snow.
I think it is going to be a snow game. I think it's going to be very cold and could get a wintry mix up there. I like Buffalo, man.
Yeah. I wouldn't really pick too many people against Buffalo at home.
No.
So, but definitely not the 49ers with the way they've been struggling.
Yep.
Brock Purdy, obviously, they're a much better team when Brock Purdy's playing. There's no question about that.
Right.
But I'm picking the Bills with everything going against them. And then the Monday game, Browns and Broncos.
Ooh.
I'm going to pick the Broncos because typically Jameis up and down, up and down, up and down. He had a big up game last time we saw him in that snow game. So I think it's going to be another down game. And that's really my premise behind making this pick. And the Broncos at home.
Yeah, I like Denver. I like the way that Bo Nix and Sean Payton are having that offense humming right now. Seems like they're both really starting to get comfortable with each other, and Bo Nix is just getting that offense right now. So I like Denver at home.
Yeah, there's not much that motivates me to watch this game, period. I'll just be honest. That's probably one of the worst Monday night matchups I've seen in a while. Like that, I'm just not fucking interested.
There's playoff implications, though.
Oh, man. Certainly for the Broncos, and obviously the Miami Dolphins fans should be keeping a close eye on that.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
even if you're the Bengals have not been mathematically eliminated yet.
No, they haven't, and that's one of the reasons I think they're going to win this game. I think they're gonna finish this game.
Mm-hmm. You see that the Giants were the first team mathematically eliminated on Thursday. I mean, we've been eliminated for the past 6 weeks.
You guys are on pace for that Shador.
Fuck. God help me if Shador Sanders goes to the Giants.
Quagmire, Ryan, your face is shaped like a kite shield. Beardo, you get enough ish on TNME. You're the man, G.
Thank you, Quagmire.
Thanks, Quagmire. Alistair Zaentier. Sorry, Ryan, you can't say the Kansas City Chiefs are the worst Super Bowl contender when Chicago had probably the second worst Super Bowl contender with the Rex Grossman Bears. I can say that they're the worst 11-1 team I've ever seen. Like when you look at their point differential, when you look at the way that they're winning some of these games. Now we can go back and look. I don't know if the Bears happened to be 11-1 that season. I guess maybe they were. Would they go 13-3 that year? Let's see.
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Let's see. Chicago Bears. Was it 2005 going into the 2006 Super Bowl, right?
It was Super Bowl 41. I think the Colts and the Bears were both number 1 overall seeds. Maybe the Colts were a 2 seed.
Let's see. 2006.
Super Bowl 41. So, was it the 2006-2007 season?
I want to see the actual results. So, yeah, the Bears at this point in the season were 10-2. So, they were not they were 10-2. So they were not an 11-1 football team.
Okay.
So, I don't see anything wrong with my statement. I didn't say the Chiefs are the worst Super Bowl contender. You're making that up. I said they're like the worst 11-1 team that I've ever seen. You can ring it back. So, miss me with that bullshit. But thank you, Alistair. Fedigator, Ryan Walters has been fired. # go Illini. Good. Fuck him. Ryan Walters, pretty good head coach, by the way. You can't survive a season like that. You can't survive a season like that.
No.
You just can't. All right, over on the Rumble side, are they worse than the 2020 Steelers who started 11-1, but about the midway point started to look like shit for the most part? I don't know if I remember that team.
Man, Was Ben Roethlisberger still on that team yet?
Was that the last season with Ben Roethlisberger?
That might have been his last season.
Stopped working.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
It just don't work no more, boys. Sorry.
Same thing happened to Drew Brees. Drew Brees got dead arm. Is like last year. He just couldn't do it anymore.
The fact that Drew Brees played in the NFL period after his injuries.
After his injury with the Chargers, yeah. Insane. He came back better.
Well, again, as a testament to kind of Sean Payton as well. He finds guys that like work with what he wants them to do, and Drew Brees was that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was that guy 100%. And you see what they're doing with Bo Nix. If Bo Nix goes to, I like Bo Nix in general, but if Bo Nix goes to
New England,
maybe New England, I would say if Bo Nix goes to fucking, I don't know, the Jacksonville Jaguars or whatever.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, and you could say that about almost any quarterback. Period, right?
Right.
But I think specifically that Bo Nix and his style of play, being just mobile enough to be on the move for some of the things that he wants to do, and accurate enough to play in Sean Payton's system, I think it just really works. I think it works great.
Yep.
And if they keep that up, that could look really good in a couple of years, like insanely good.
Yeah, I agree.
Maddening for $10. Usually miss Sports Wars Live. Always enjoy the coverage. Hashtag Go Ducks.
Hey, what's up, maddening?
We don't have really time to cover it because games are about to start. We talked too long about everything else. But I did want to talk about this fucking trans volleyball player who we've mentioned a couple times over the past couple months. So many teams that decided instead of playing against a man, because this is a man right here. San Jose State has a man playing for their volleyball team. The only reason that they were in the Mountain West Conference Championship was because teams forfeited against them. They refused to play them and allow them to advance in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They were finally defeated in the conference final by Colorado State, who had fucking players kneeling for the national anthem, one of whom is alleged to have tried to collude with the transgender person to get the teammate who spoke out a bit against the transgender person injured. That's a big lawsuit that's going on right now. This is a fucking mess and a nightmare and disgusting. But it is, the NCAA is probably like fucking thanking God right now that this team lost, because if they had to fucking play in the NCAA tournament, just imagine the nightmare that would be. Another NCAA tournament, with a fucking transgender participant.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking gross. It's disgusting. It's retarded. Shout out to the ladies who are refusing to get on the court with them. Shout out to the teammate, the San Jose State teammate, who had the bravery to stand up and say, this is bullshit. This is wrong. My coaches didn't even tell me that I was going to be in a locker room with a fucking dude.
Right.
It's fucked up. And at some point, the NCAA needs to take action. They actually need to take action and ban transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. It's not okay.
Yep. Well said. Completely agree.
What are you drinking, Beardo? Protein shake?
It's just water.
Water. Ohio State fans were wishing a new day Sunday would also bring a new head football coach. There's no way Ryan Day would get fired now, when it would be one thing if that had been the game that kept them out of the college football playoff or something. But no, there's no way you do that now. You got the college football playoff coming up. So maybe after this season, disappointing showing there, you never know what might happen. You never know what might happen. But that's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you for the big audience today. We had damn near 1,000 people watching us here on YouTube, 200 people watching us on Rumble. We appreciate you guys. Beardo, what do you got going on, man?
Just going to watch football. Maybe get a haircut. I don't know. We'll see.
I desperately need a haircut, dude.
I need a haircut and a beard trim, dude. I've just stopped giving a fuck, and it looks really bad. So
yeah, like my hair's getting way too poofy on the sides. It's covering my ears.
Oh yeah, you can see all my gray hair on my sides. I need to.
You have gray hair,
dude. I got more gray hair than probably you do.
I don't have any. Every once in a while, I'll find like a little gray hair on like my beard or something.
Oh, dude, I got tons of gray hair underneath
my
beard.
Are you, like 29?
29. Yeah.
Is that whole year? Yeah.
Yeah. 29. Yeah.
That's rough, man.
I have gray hair everywhere on my sides, like Reed Richards, and in my beard everywhere. I don't know. I'm thinking by the time I'm 40 years old, I'm gonna have white hair.
Probably.
It's not gonna be a good look. If I still have hair.
Do you think you're gonna go bald?
I fucking hope not. I really fucking hope not. My dad's bald, but they say it comes from your mother's side. Dude, I don't want to fucking go bald.
Like it comes from your mother's side and it skips a generation, all that shit. Whatever.
But if I go bald, I'm telling you what, I'm going to Turkey and I'm getting a hair transplant. I ain't gonna be fucking bald on my watch.
Why Turkey?
Because apparently they do it really good over there.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds maybe you get a discount if you go there, but
I don't know. I follow this page on Instagram. A whole bunch of like actors and bodybuilders. They have gone over to this place to get a hair transplant, and I'm like, fuck.
You follow them already. You're ready to go there.
I already follow them. Yes, I'm ready to go. I've been doing research, man.
Is that where they like take the hair from your ass and put it on your head or whatever?
No. They take it from the back of your head. They take hair from the back of your head and then plug it up in the front. I'm looking into it. I already am.
Well, hey, good luck. Good luck at that, or good luck with that. That's it for us. Go enjoy. I'm thankful that I don't have to watch another depressing Bears loss this Sunday. I got to watch it on Thursday, so I don't have to go through that this week. At least not now. So there is that. But all right, guys, we'll talk to you next week, and we'll be back tomorrow. Are you going to be here tomorrow? Are you traveling or anything?
I am flying back tomorrow, so I don't know. I have to look at. I'll text you and see if I can make it.
We may or may not be here for Monday Evening Quarterback. We'll see. But thank you, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.